The Alpha King was dying, not slowly, but painfully. Every breath he dragged into his chest sounded like a war he was losing. A curse, cold, ancient, and merciless, was draining his life thread by thread. No healer could save him. No magic could touch him. No warrior could come near him without burning alive from the curse's fire. The throne room had become a graveyard of failed attempts. The kingdom had begun to whisper, "Our Alpha King will not see the next full moon," until she walked in. A quiet Omega girl, unnoticed, unimportant, sent only to deliver herbs, nothing more. She didn't even know why her hands trembled as she stepped into the cursed chamber, or why the guards gasped when the fire surrounding the Alpha did not burn her. In front of the dying king, something ancient stirred, something fate had been hiding for years. The Alpha's body, cold and unmoving for weeks, suddenly arched with life. His fingers twitched. His heart gave a single violent thud. And with a voice barely strong enough to exist, barely louder than a whisper fighting for survival, he breathed one word, a name. Arwen. Her name. A name he had never heard. A name he should not know. A name tied to a prophecy buried for centuries. Because Arwen, the girl standing frozen in fear, was the mate the Alpha King had never met. The one destined to either save him or destroy him. And with that one whispered breath, the curse began to move. The palace walls trembled, the bond awakened, and fate itself shifted its path, because his last breath had called her name, and nothing, not even death, could stop what came next. Alpha Rowan. The name once made warriors bow. Now it makes them whisper in fear. A king born with too much power, and cursed with a destiny no one understood. He ruled the kingdom with ice in his veins and fire in his eyes. Unshakable, unbreakable. A living legend wrapped in shadows and strength. But that was before the curse started eating him alive. Now Rowan moves like a man carved from stone, strong on the outside, shattering on the inside. His strength is fading day by day. His breath shortens every morning. His wolf, once the most feared creature in the realm, is silent, buried somewhere deep under layers of pain. Every night, he wakes choking on smoke that no one else can see. His chest burns as if claws are tearing him open from the inside. Nightmares of fire, nightmares of a woman he cannot see, nightmares of a destiny he never chose. His warriors whisper behind iron doors. His heartbeat, it's weakening. The curse is almost complete. Our Alpha does not have long. The healers who once begged for his approval now refuse to step close because the curse lashes out like a beast. Anyone too near him burns, flesh blistering, magic disintegrating, souls trembling. No one can save him. No spell can touch him. No herb, no potion, no priest, no witch. Even the moon goddess has turned her face away. But Rowan has one secret. On the nights where he feels death pressing against his ribs, when his vision darkens and his pulse fades until even the shadows seem quieter, he hears something, a voice, soft, warm, gentle enough to calm the fire in his chest, strong enough to pull him back from the brink. At first he thought it was a hallucination, a dying man's desperate attempt to cling to life. But then the voice began whispering his name. Rowan. Rowan, breathe. A voice he has never heard in reality. A voice that doesn't belong to anyone in his kingdom. A voice that feels like home. And every time he hears it, his heart, that fragile, fading thing, beats a little harder. For the first time in months. Only one name ever accompanies the warmth sliding through his dying veins. Arwen. A name he has never spoken aloud. A woman he has never seen. A mate he never knew existed. A name fate carved into his last breath, and the only name strong enough to keep him alive. Arwen had always known she was different. Not special, just different in a way that made people uncomfortable. She was born to a bloodline that once carried honor, but generations of tragedy had reduced her family to whispers and shadows. Most packs refused to take in Omegas like her. Too unpredictable, they said. Too fragile. Too dangerous. So she grew up on the outskirts of a small village, living quietly with her aunt, helping with herbs, keeping her head down and her voice soft. She'd never felt a pack bond, never felt the warm pull of belonging, never felt the comfort of a wolf answering to hers. Some Omegas bloomed under attention. Arwen wilted under it. Every time someone looked at her too closely, their expression shifted. Confusion, unease, something they couldn't explain, as if their instincts sensed a storm sleeping beneath her skin. But Arwen felt none of it. All she felt was emptiness, a quiet ache in the center of her chest, an ache that made her wonder if she was born without a soul bond at all. She lived each day pretending she was fine, pretending she didn't feel hollow, pretending she wasn't terrified of her own shadowy dreams, dreams of fire, of a man calling her name, of a pair of fading silver eyes begging her not to leave. She never knew those dreams belonged to a dying king. Not yet. One night, while fetching water, the world around her stopped. The bucket slipped from her fingers. Her knees buckled. A heat, sharp and electric, shot through her chest. So violent she cried out and clutched her heart. Her vision blurred, her breath fractured, and a name she had never spoken, never heard, ripped out of her mouth like a fate she couldn't control. Rowan. The sound echoed across the quiet village. The wind stilled. The moon brightened. Every hair on her skin rose. She fell to the ground trembling, her heart beating so loudly she feared it would shatter. She didn't know who Rowan was. She didn't know why his name felt like fire and salvation. She didn't know why the world tilted the moment she said it. But the goddess knew. And far, far away, in a palace wrapped in curses and cold winds, the Alpha King, who could barely breathe, suddenly inhaled a full breath. His heart, weak, fading, almost silent, gave a single desperate thump, a heartbeat that did not belong to him, a heartbeat that belonged to her. Arwen gasped. Rowan gasped. Two strangers bound by a fate neither understood, and though she didn't understand the burning in her chest, the way the air hummed around her, or the invisible thread pulling her somewhere she had never been, she knew one thing with terrifying certainty. Something inside her had awakened. Something ancient. Something powerful. Something the world had been waiting for. And somewhere out there, the dying Alpha King had whispered her name, a name he didn't know he knew. Arwen. The palace is silent when they drag Arwen through its gates. Silent in that eerie, dreadful way that means everyone inside is waiting for death. Not theirs, but the king's. Alpha Rowan, once the strongest ruler in the northern kingdoms, now lies on a bed of burning stone, cursed so viciously that no one can touch him without their skin blistering. The healers have given up. The witches have failed. Even the moon priests refuse to enter the room again. So when the soldiers deliver Arwen, the guards don't even look at her face. They just mutter, "Bring in the Omega. If she fails, it changes nothing." Arwen's heart slams against her ribs. She is shaking, confused, terrified. Because she shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be near a king. And she certainly shouldn't be summoned to save the Alpha cursed to die. She doesn't know why her chest still burns from last night. She doesn't know why Rowan's name spilled from her lips in a whisper she didn't understand. She doesn't know why her dreams are filled with a man she has never met. She only knows this. Something has been calling her. They push open the heavy iron doors of Rowan's chamber. Heat blasts against her skin, the temperature so unbearable that two guards immediately retreat. But she stands frozen, staring. The Alpha King lies on a slab of dark stone, his chest rising so faintly she can barely see movement. His body glows with the eerie blue fire of the curse. a fire that burns everything except the man trapped inside it. His wolf is silent. His breathing is shallow. His pulse is almost gone. He looks dead. And yet, the moment Arwen steps forward, the fire around Rowan flickers. The air shifts. A soft hum fills the room, like the walls themselves are chanting. Her mark begins to glow through her collarbone, faint at first, then brighter, brighter, until the entire chamber reflects the soft golden light bleeding from her skin. Arwen gasps, clutching her chest. Something inside her is waking up. Something ancient, something forbidden, something that should not have been dormant for so long. "Go on," one of the healers whispers shakily. "If he dies without finding his mate, the kingdom fractures. If you fail, at least we tried." Arwen barely hears him. Her feet move on their own. Step after step after step. Her pulse matches his. Her breath syncs with his. Her vision blurs with heat and light. Then, Rowan's chest heaves, once, twice. The fire around him collapses inward like breath sucked out of the world. His body jerks, eyes squeezing shut as if fighting something inside him. Then he opens his eyes, for the first time in weeks, and he is looking directly at her, not past her, not through her, at her, with eyes burning silver, soft, vulnerable, alive. His voice is broken, a rasp ripped from the edge of death. "You came." Arwen's breath stops. Her blood freezes. She shakes her head, terrified, trembling. I don't know you." His stare deepens, as if her soul is the only thing keeping his anchored. But destiny does. The mark on her collarbone burns so intensely she falls to her knees. He struggles weakly, reaching toward her with a hand that shakes violently. Not from weakness, but from recognition, from relief, from fate. The cursed Alpha King, the man no one could save, whispers her name like a prayer he was born remembering. "Arwen, you came." The healers thought it was a coincidence. The guards thought it was luck. The court whispered that it was a trick from the goddess, but Arwen knew the truth the moment she stepped out of Rowan's chamber. Her knees buckled, her lungs tightened. A sharp pain stabbed her heart. Not hers, his. Behind the heavy double doors, Rowan gasped violently, his monitors shattering with the sudden drop in his heartbeat. Warriors rushed inside, shouting for the healers, but nothing worked. The curse surged back, fierce, angry, ravenous, as if punishing him for letting her go. "Bring her back," a guard roared. Arwen froze. "Me? Why?" Before she could think, Rowan's wolf, silent for months, released a broken, agonizing growl so deep the palace walls vibrated. She was shoved back into the chamber. The moment she crossed the threshold, Rowan's body jolted, his breathing steadied, and his wolf whimpered in relief. Like a dying man taking his first breath, like someone who had finally found the thing keeping him alive. His silver eyes opened, hazy and weak, searching, until they landed on her. "Don't." His voice cracked. "I'd leave." The word wasn't a command. It was a plea. An Alpha King begging an Omega he didn't know. Arwen's chest tightened again, the bond threading between them like burning silk. She stumbled backward, terrified, but Rowan's pain slammed into her with full force. His panic, his desperation, his fear of losing her. Her own tears spilled before she could stop them. This wasn't normal. This wasn't natural. This wasn't supposed to happen. The elders whispered from the hallway. "The bond, it's awakening. The curse reacts to her. He will die without her." Rowan heard every word. His hands curled into fists. His jaw clenched. His wolf surged painfully against his skin. He hated weakness, yet he was drowning in it. Because of her. When Arwen tried to take a single step away from his bedside, Rowan convulsed, falling forward, gripping the sheets as if the world was ripping out of him. "Stop!" His voice fractured. Don't go. Please, Arwen. Her name in his mouth sounded like prayer, like a confession, like a curse breaking. She moved closer without meaning to. Her body reacted to the bond before her mind did. The moment she reached him, Rowan grabbed her wrist. Not roughly, not forcefully, but as if she was the only anchor holding him to life. His eyes met hers, cold, proud, unyielding, now filled with something she had never seen before. Fear, not of her, but of losing her. And that terrified them both. The bond pulsed again. A violent, hungry thing, dragging their emotions together until she felt him breathing through her own lungs. He tried to act cold, to mask the obsession burning in his veins. "You are necessary," he forced out. "Don't confuse that with importance." But the lie trembled on his tongue. Arwen swallowed hard. "Why do you need me?" Rowan's wolf growled softly, possessively, a sound that made every guard take a step back. He didn't answer. He couldn't, because the truth was simple. Her presence kept him alive. Her scent steadied his heartbeat. Her fear strangled him. Her distance shattered him. He didn't know her. He didn't want to need her. And yet, every time she stepped toward the door, his breath hitched, his vision blurred, and the bond ripped through him like claws. He became obsessed, consumed, addicted to her presence, even though a part of him still hated the vulnerability she brought. But even hatred bowed to fate. He should have been stronger. He should have pushed her away. He should have controlled himself. But as she stood by his bed, glowing faintly with the bond he couldn't deny, Rowan finally realized something horrifying. He wasn't afraid of dying anymore. He was afraid of a life where she didn't exist. And Arwen felt it too. The beginning of something unstoppable. Something sacred. Something dangerous. The true awakening of their bond. Arwen never meant to become anyone's salvation. She never wanted to be dragged into a dying king's curse. Never asked to be the reason an entire kingdom now watched every breath she took. But the moment her trembling hand brushed Rowan's fever-burned skin, something ancient inside her snapped awake. It started as a soft warmth in her chest. A glow she had felt only once in her life, years ago, when she was a child whispering to the moon, begging for a place where she belonged. But now, that warmth erupted like sunfire. Her palms lit up with a soft, golden aura. Not magic she controlled, but magic that reacted to Rowan. And as the glow spilled over his cursed skin, the fire tormenting him began to retreat. The healers gasped. His beta staggered back. But Rowan inhaled like a drowning man reaching air for the first time, and Arwen felt it. Raw, overwhelming, terrifying. His heartbeat, in her chest, syncing with hers. Slowing her breath, tightening her lungs, pulling her closer. Closer until she had no choice but to kneel beside him. Then the visions hit. At first, just flashes. A hand reaching for help. A boy screaming under moonlight. A curse carved into bone. A woman's betrayal. A fire swallowing a kingdom whole. None of it was hers. But she felt every emotion as if it lived inside her. Pain that didn't belong to her. Screams she had never voiced. Memories she had never lived. Arwen jerked her hand back, shaking. What? What is happening to me? But Rowan's fingers, weak, trembling, desperate, closed around her wrist. "Don't stop," he breathed, voice ragged. "You're the only thing keeping me alive." His touch spread warmth through her veins. Too much warmth. Too fast. Like the bond was forcing her to awaken a power she had spent her whole life unknowingly suppressing. She tried to pull away, but the bond lashed through her spine like lightning, ripping a gasp from her throat. Images hit her again. A prophecy whispered in blood. A destined mate with a soul light powerful enough to break curses. A dying alpha whose heart would beat only for her. a warning. If she awakens, the world shifts. Her breathing turned sharp, because it wasn't just Rowan being healed. Her magic was merging with his curse, unlocking, expanding, becoming something dangerous. She stood, stumbling back, but Rowan's wolf surged under his skin, silver eyes flashing. "Don't leave," he rasped, and there was no command in his voice, no alpha dominance, just raw fear, because he could feel it too. Her power could cleanse him, or consume her, save him, or shatter them both. Arwen touched her chest, feeling the strange, glowing pressure beneath her skin. "I'm changing," she whispered. I can feel something growing inside me, something I can't control." Rowan's eyes softened, slowly, painfully, as if the curse fought him for every expression. "It's the bond," he murmured. "It's waking what was always yours." "But what if it's too much?" she whispered. "What if it kills me?" Rowan's breath trembled, his voice broke. "Then I die with you." The room fell silent. The warriors, the healers, even the cursed flames around his bed. For the first time, Alpha Rowan, feared by kingdoms, looked helpless. Not because he was weak, but because she was now the only thing anchoring him to life. Arwen swallowed, trembling. She didn't choose this fate. She never asked for this power. But now fate didn't care. Because Rowan's heart, his wolf, his very existence, beat in time with hers. And the deeper her power awakened, the more she realized a horrifying truth. Saving him might kill her, but leaving him would kill him instantly. And whether she liked it or not, they were no longer two separate lives. They were one unraveling destiny. The silence of the palace didn't last long, because fate never allows peace. Not when destiny finally takes shape. For years, Rowan believed the curse on him was simple. Punishment from the gods. Retribution for sins he couldn't even remember. A slow death carved into his bones until his heart stopped beating. But Arwen's presence began awakening buried memories. Shadows of fire, screams, and a woman with eyes like winter storms. A woman who had once stood before him and demanded something he could never give. His heart, her name, was Morrigan. A sorceress so powerful, kingdoms bowed in fear. A woman Rowan had rejected as his chosen mate, because even then, his soul whispered the name he had never heard. Arwen. That rejection twisted Morrigan into something monstrous. Her love turned to obsession. Her obsession turned to rage. And her rage birthed the curse that was now killing him. When she felt Rowan's life weakening, she had smiled, believing she had won, until the moment Arwen stepped into the palace, and Rowan's heartbeat sparked back to life. The curse didn't break. It didn't vanish. It fought, because something stronger than death itself had arrived. And Morrigan felt it, far from the kingdom, in her lair of black stone. Her eyes snapped open. Magic crackled around her like a storm ready to tear the sky apart. Her flames dimmed, her runes flickered. She whispered only one word: impossible. She had designed the curse so Rowan could never feel peace, never heal, never bond, never find his true mate. And yet, Arwen existed. Arwen breathed. Arwen touched him, and the bond responded. Her face twisted with fury as she rose, robes trailing like dying shadows. "So the true mate has awakened," she hissed. "Then she must die." In seconds, her army of death-bound soldiers stirred to life, eyes glowing with unnatural light, their weapons forged to sever soul bonds. Her command echoed through the dark. "Find the Omega. Bring me her heart." Back in Rowan's palace, Arwen felt something tighten in her chest, a coldness crawling up her spine, a shadow brushing the edge of her mind. She gripped the bed frame, breathing hard. Rowan sensed it instantly. His wolf snarled, ears flattening, eyes glowing silver. "She's coming," he growled. voice rough with instinct and fear. "The witch who cursed me." Arwen's fingers trembled. "Why would she come after me? I'm nobody." Rowan grabbed her wrist. Not harshly, but desperately, as if trying to anchor himself to her existence. "You're not nobody." His voice broke. "You're the only one the curse cannot touch. The only one who can reach me. The only one Morrigan failed to destroy." For the first time, Arwen realized something horrifying. Rowan wasn't cursed because he was hated. He was cursed because he was loved. By someone whose love had twisted into madness. And now that Rowan's true mate had appeared, the sorceress would stop at nothing to erase her. Outside, thunder cracked violently. The palace walls shook. Warriors scrambled. The sky burned red. Morrigan had arrived, and Rowan, weak and fading, could barely stand. But his wolf surged up in a last burst of fury, placing himself between Arwen and the door. His voice trembled with rage and fear you could feel in your bones. "She wants you." He swallowed hard. "She will have to kill me first." Arwen's heart raced. Rowan's life depended on her, and now her life was the one being hunted. Two bonds intertwined. Life and death, mate and curse, alpha and omega, destiny and destruction. Because the moment Arwen entered Rowan's world, she didn't just awaken him, she awakened his greatest enemy, and Morrigan was ready to burn the kingdom to ash to get what she wanted. Morrigan did not strike with an army. She didn't need to. She only needed one target. Arwen. It happened the moment Rowan's strength dipped for a heartbeat, a crack in the bond, a flicker of weakness, the curse surging back to reclaim him. And in that tiny moment, she took Arwen. No sound, no warning, just a violent burst of dark magic. And Arwen was gone. Rowan felt it instantly. The bond yanked violently inside his chest. His heart stalled. His wolf roared like a wounded god, the sound shaking the palace walls. His vision blurred, but not from the curse, from rage, from terror. Arwen. The guards tried to restrain him. They never stood a chance. Rowan shifted mid-breath, his dying wolf erupting in a storm of black fire as he shredded through stone, soldiers and shadows alike. He didn't care who stood in his way. He didn't care if the curse tore him apart. He didn't care if death was waiting on the other side. He was going to her. Every step felt like walking through fire. Every breath stabbed like knives. Every second away from her felt like he was suffocating underwater. But still, he kept going. He tore through the palace gates, destroyed whole battalions with nothing but the force of his rage. He crossed the border forests in minutes, leaving burning trails where his paws touched the ground. His wolf was dying, but refusing to die without her. Because the mate bond wasn't a whisper anymore. It was a scream. Her scream. And it was tearing him apart. Rowan found the ruined temple where Morrigan held her. He shifted back into human form. Barely standing, drenched in blood and ash, breathing like every inhale was a battle. "Give her back." His voice cracked the sky itself. Morrigan only smiled. "She was never meant for you. You reject fate, so fate rejects you." She held Arwen suspended in the air, eyes closed, skin pale, magic chains wrapped around her body like thorns. Rowan's knees buckled. Not from weakness, from fear. For the first time in his life, the Alpha King felt truly powerless. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Arwen, please, open your eyes." The chains glowed brighter. Arwen barely breathed. Rowan felt the bond slipping, like sand falling between trembling fingers. His heart stuttered. No, no, he would not lose her. With a broken roar, Rowan launched himself at Morrigan. Dark magic exploded. The curse ripped through his body, but he didn't stop. He tore through the spells, through the chains, through every barrier between them, until finally, he caught her. Arwen fell into his arms, cold, limp, barely alive. Rowan collapsed to his knees with her, holding her like she was the last breath he had left, and maybe she was. Arwen, breathe. His forehead pressed to hers, his voice cracked, tears fell onto her cheek, tears no warrior had ever seen him shed. If you die. His voice broke completely. I follow. Do you hear me? His grip trembled as he cupped her face. I don't care about the crown. I don't care about the curse. I don't care about anything but you. Just breathe for me. The mate bond thrummed painfully between them, weak, but not broken, fading, but not gone. Rowan pulled her closer, breathing her in like he needed her scent to stay alive. Come back to me, Arwen. Please, I'm begging you. The Alpha King, the feared ruler of 4 kingdoms, was on his knees, broken in every way a man could break. For her, only her. And in that moment, the prophecy began to wake. The world around Arwen was nothing but smoke and ruin. The ritual chamber Morrigan dragged her into was cracked, bleeding magic from every stone shaking with the force of their broken bond. Rowan lay on the ground beside her, barely breathing, his skin cold, his chest rising only because her trembling hands were still touching him. Her body was bruised, her voice was shaking, her soul was splitting open with terror. But Rowan was dying. His wolf, once feared across kingdoms, was silent. His heartbeat was a faint flicker of light being swallowed by darkness. His curse, once burning violently, was now fading like the dying glow of an ember. And Arwen knew what that meant. He wasn't surviving. He was surrendering. She held his face with both hands, choking on a sob. Rowan, don't leave me. Not like this. Not before the bond is even complete. His eyelids fluttered, his voice broke in half. Arwen, I can't. Hold on. His breath hitched, a sound of agony and longing. His fingers weakly reached for hers as if his soul refused to let her go, even if his body couldn't keep fighting. And then the prophecy whispered through her veins. To save the Alpha King, the true mate must finish the bond, or die with him. Her chest tightened. Her mark blazed. The goddess was no longer waiting. Arwen's vision blurred with tears as she realized the truth. Leaving him meant death. Saving him meant surrendering everything she was, and breaking the bond meant killing them both. There was only one choice a true mate could make. She leaned down, pressing her forehead to his. I choose you, Rowan, even if it burns me alive. The ancient bond ignited. A burst of golden fire exploded from their marks, twisting around them, lifting their bodies from the ground. Rowan gasped a strangled breath as his wolf roared inside him, awakened by her touch. Their souls collided, fierce, violent, desperate, like 2 constellations trying to merge into one star. Arwen screamed as magic tore through her, her power unraveling, reshaping, fusing with his. Visions of Rowan's childhood, his curse, his suffering. They rushed into her mind like a tidal wave. Rowan's shattered wolf reached out, touching hers for the first time without pain. Golden fire became white. White became blinding. The curse fought back, shrieked, burned, and then dissolved, completely, violently, irrevocably. Rowan collapsed to the floor, lifeless. Arwen fell beside him, sobbing, shaking him. Rowan, please, please open your eyes. No answer, no movement, only silence. She screamed his name until her voice broke. Her tears hit his chest, and the bond pulsed, once, twice, a third time. Rowan gasped. A full, powerful breath, his first real breath in months. His silver eyes shot open, alive, fierce, unbroken. He whispered her name like a prayer returned from death. Arwen. She collapsed into his arms as the light faded around them, and for the first time, Rowan held her not as a dying king desperate for survival, but as a man reborn, because she chose him. For a long moment, There is only silence. Then, a breath. A full, strong, unbroken breath tearing through the room like a miracle. Arwen gasps, her eyes flying open as Rowan's fingers twitch beneath hers. The golden fire swirling around them softens, breaking apart into warm sparks that settle on his skin like blessings. His chest rises again. This time he exhales her name like a vow reborn. Arwen. Slowly, painfully, beautifully, Rowan opens his eyes. No darkness, no curse, no fire. Only her. She covers her mouth as tears fall, not from fear, not from exhaustion, but from the overwhelming relief of seeing him alive. His silver eyes, once dim with death, now glow with a fierce, unrestrained devotion she has never seen in any alpha. Rowan, you're back. He sits up slowly, as if waking from centuries of torment, his gaze never leaving hers. Then, with a softness no one has ever witnessed from the feared Alpha King, he reaches for her hand. He presses her palm to his chest, over his newly healed heart. Every breath I take now, I take because you chose me, he whispers, voice unsteady with emotion he can no longer hide. My last breath called your name, Arwen, and every breath after this one, it belongs to you. The warriors watching outside fall to their knees. His council members bow. Even the wind outside the broken palace wall stills, as though nature itself honors the moment destiny is rewritten. Arwen shakes her head in disbelief. I'm just an Omega. No. Rowan cuts in softly. You are the Luna fate carved into my soul before I ever drew my first breath. His wolf howls, not in pain, but in triumph. The mate bond settles between them, powerful and eternal, wrapping them in a warmth that feels like coming home after a lifetime of wandering. The kingdom feels it. The curse break. The prophecy snapping into place. The dawn of a new era rising with their bond. And then, the moment that leaves viewers stunned. Rowan kneels, the Alpha King, the one who commanded armies, defied sorceresses and fought death itself, kneels before the Omega the world overlooked. He bows his head and whispers, My life was dying until your name revived it. My heart beats because of you, and if fate ever demands a price again, it will take me before it ever touches you. Arwen's breath catches. He rises, cups her face, and kisses her forehead softly, reverently, sealing the bond completely. Outside, the moon glows brighter as if the moon goddess herself blesses the union. Rowan wraps his arms around Arwen and turns to his people. This is your Luna, he declares, not by duty, but by destiny. The kingdom erupts in cheers. Arwen blushes, overwhelmed, but Rowan holds her closer, and from that moment no one dares doubt her again. She saved the Alpha King. She broke the curse. She fulfilled the prophecy. She was the Omega the world once ignored, and the Luna fate chose for a dying king. He swore he didn't need a mate, but destiny carved my name into his final breath. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and check the other powerful stories waiting for you on the channel.